what I found is when you talk to strangers, there's this relatability factor, and because they're not judging you. Oftentimes I think we're so worried about what people think of us, certainly our family and our friends, that they have an expectation of how we should be. But a complete stranger has no idea. They just want to connect and relate to what you're going through.
I'm here to talk to you a little bit about being now on the other side of the table.
I took a pause and decided that I needed to slow down and let the universe really come at me. And by slowing down, I opened up a window of opportunity for new things. The book took me about 4 months, actually, to write. And I felt like once I got into it, that the book really wrote itself. And the life I was living was coming out through my words. So it was an incredible journey, very therapeutic. So really, I wrote this book as a collection of short stories about my own personal transformation following divorce. And whether you like it or not, or wanted your divorce or not, it just plain sucks. And so I wanted to really inspire people who were going through times of uncertainty, and just to give them that sense that they can do it too and move forward.
Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage our first speaker, Amy.
When I joined Roe v. 2.5 years ago, I had come from a decade or 2.5 of sales and sales leadership. I knew that the customer relationship was in my hands, and it was my responsibility to build that strong relationship. So I was a little bit hesitant when I leapt over to the other side of the table to run sales operations for Roe v. Sales operations really didn't exist at Roe v, so I had to build a team to support a global sales organization. About a month in, I received a phone call, and I'm hoping that any of you salespeople aren't Doug in the room. But this call went something like this. I got to my office and I saw the blinking light on my phone. I never get calls on my phone, but I better check it. So I have a voicemail. Hi, Amy, it's Doug. Give me a call back. Simple enough. I asked around a few people, is there a Doug here, someone I should call back? I didn't get a response. So I called Doug back. That was my first mistake. And I get this message that says, you've reached mailbox 303. Who does that? Anyhow, I gleefully hung up the phone and said, okay, I checked the box. I called Doug, right? Called him back. Not 5 minutes went by, and I get a call back. Hi, Amy, this is Doug. Thanks so much for calling me back. I was a little creeped out that he knew that I had just called. And I said, great, it's so nice to hear your voice, but who are you? And I said, do you have a last name? He gave me his last name, which thankfully I've forgotten. And then he told me his company name, which I haven't forgotten, but I will protect this company from saying it. And he gave me his company name. And I said, did it ever occur to you to leave your full name and your company name? Because then I would know why to call you back. He said, no, it never occurred to me. Are you kidding me? I was in sales for 25 years, I'm sorry to say, 25 years, and I never did that. And I really never received those kind of calls because I was always the seller, I was not the buyer. And I thought, first of all, I was pretty appalled. And I said, so in other words, you're trying to con me and trick me into calling you back. I said, it doesn't feel so good. So no, I won't do business with you or your company. And then the punchline, he says, how about Tuesday at 9? Shall we get together? Really? Really? Be different. I'll give you another great example, and I actually wrote about this on LinkedIn, about this particular engagement. And I got a message from somebody, Matt, I think was his name, and it said, Giants Wager. I'm from San Francisco. Giants Wager. It says, hi, Matt, I'm from such and such a company, and your Giants are playing my Red Sox tonight. Could I wager with you? If the Red Sox win, you'll give me 15 minutes of your time, and if the Giants win, I'll send you some memorabilia from the game. Like, that's kind of cool. I'm a sports fan. I can dig it. So I replied back. I said, first, what you don't know, because I don't have it on my profile, is that I'm a huge Red Sox fan. But in the interest of this wager, I will root for the Giants, because they are my home team after all. And I said, by the way, I wear an extra small sweatshirt. So it happened to be, this game happened to be around the same time as the Warriors, right? So the Warriors were playing, big deal in the Bay Area, woo-ha, woo-ha. And people were watching that, but what am I doing? I'm keep checking the scores from the Red Sox-Giants game. And so I kept messaging him through LinkedIn, thinking he would be. And I'm like, 0-0, 0-1, Giants are winning. And I just kept at him, right? It was a game. Giants won. He writes back to me, he says, well, I guess you win. And he said, you know, where will you be on Tuesday? Because I'd like to deliver your sweatshirt. And I said, so I'll be in this office.
Nice.
I'll be in this office, and I'm running a meeting that day. So just ask me at the front desk, and I'll sneak out, and I'll come meet you. And I said, in fact, because of your creativity and engagement, I said, I'd like 30 minutes of your time. So he asked for 15, said I didn't have to give it if his team lost. His team did lose, but he got 30 minutes. And when he didn't live there, so he had someone in the Bay Area deliver the sweatshirt and a box of cupcakes for the meeting. And so people say, and the other thing is, what he was selling me is nothing I could buy, and he knew it. He just wanted to get insights about the tools that I use as a user of some technology tools. He wanted to know that, so he could then be more intelligent when he went to speak to the buyer within Rovi. So that's a way that works. And you don't always have to give me things, that's okay too. But it was that level of creativity. He thought outside of the box.
First of all, I'd like to start with a personal question, I suppose, really.
Personal question? Because we said it was about being personal, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Not too personal, but I asked you beforehand maybe an interesting fact from your history that's not as maybe work-related.
Not as work-related.
So do you want to share that so
Sure,
people can see your personal side?
Okay, so clearly I like to be on stage. So about 5 years ago or so, when I was going through some personal challenges in my life, and I felt like I had just devoted all my life to my children and my marriage, I said, I'm going to do something for me. I've always wanted to be a rock star. So I went online, handy-dandy Google, and I typed in rock and roll camps for adults. Woo, that sounds like exactly. So within 10 minutes, I had signed up for Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp in Dallas, Texas, and I had an opportunity to sing on stage at the House of Blues.
Oh, that deserves a clap, I think.
So this is nothing compared to that.